धम्मो मङ्गलमुख्येठम् अहिंसा संयमो तवो देवावृतं नमंसन्ति यस्य धम्मे सयामणो यस्य धम्मे सयामणो. I bow to the lotus feet of Vitarag Bhagavan Mahavir, Reverend Gurudev, brothers and sisters. So our first two lectures, just recapping, about the definition of yoga, how the yoga, Jain yoga, developed through the centuries. During the canonical age, we just had some terms. During the medieval age, since 8th century, we got definition of yoga, and then it is later developed. And whenever the concept developed, it is not developed in isolation. Always we have some influences from the other tradition, and the tradition within also develop itself. So Jaina tradition had a journey, a long journey, and finally pre-modern definition from Upadhyay Yashu Vijayji, and the medieval definition of Acharya Haribhadra, Acharya Shubhchandra, Acharya Hemachandra, and the classical definition, which is not actually defined but defined in Tattvat Sutra, the Moksha Marg. So if we see the Buddhist marg, it's Vishuddhi marg, the Jain marg, Moksha marg. So Vishuddhi and Moksha both is related to the purification. So here, when we come to the modern age and how a pragmatic definition of yoga is given by Acharya Tulsi, Acharya Tulsi has seen very closely the people, the world, the wide world, the booming yoga movement. The many Jain gurus traveled also from India to abroad to spread it. Many Hindu gurus, the transcendental meditation, Shivananda yoga, and different types of yoga. It was the midst of 20th century. Everybody was spreading the Indian great cultural heritage and Indian great sadhana, which is named as yoga. So Gurudev Tulsi given a practical definition. So what is yoga? Mano vak kay anapan indriya aharanam nirodho yoga. So nirodho yoga. What is yoga? Yoga is nirod. Nirod is again having 2-3 stages. If we see the classical yoga, Chitta Vritti Nirodho Yoga, the moving of Chitta, the changing in the Chitta, and one who control that is yoga. Even in classical yoga, we can get 2-3 definition by Patanjali. But here, Acharya Tulsi given, he has taken the classical definition but incorporated so many aspects. So, Mano, Vak, Kay, and these are our medieval definition. Yoga is coming from the Man Yoga, Vachan Yoga, Kaya Yoga. Then anapan. And anapan is again swasochwas, breathing, breathe out. Because life is based on breath. Without breath, normally we have no definition of life. And breath play a pivotal role. You see, when you are in a balanced situation, you don't notice the breath is going on, coming in, coming out. But when you are angry, can you notice? More angry and hyper angry, in 3 situations you can see. And similarly, when you are on the other side of your existence, on some type of lust, in sexual activities and on other activities, also breath rate is changing. So here the anapan is very important factor of yoga. Then indriyanam and aharanam. Ahar, you eat during the aymbul, breath rate is different. You eat in a party, it has difference. And you can judge yourself through your sleep. If you have taken party food, you have different kind of sleep. If you have taken normal food, you have different kind of sleep. You did aymbul, different sleep. Ekashanu, different sleep. And you did aymbul, different sleep. So sleep and food and breath rate and mano, mind also. Mind has different types of variation and clarity. If you have upavas, that day mind is different. So ahar, all these aspects plays a role for the yoga. And then again going back to the soteriological purpose. At the first level definition, we can talk to anybody without the boundaries of religion, caste, color, creed or nationality. The first definition, we can talk to anybody. But being a Jain Acharya, he couldn't divorce himself from the Jain path of purification. And that's why Sambaro Gupti Nirodho Nivriti Iti Pariyaya. The yoga, the synonyms of yoga is stoppage of influx, self-protection, restraint and abstinence. All these are paryayas. All these are synonyms. So, samvaro, whenever your mind is fixed on one point, your speech is fixed on one point. Suppose you are indulged in a jap. Ariham, 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 ariham. So mind is fixed on one syllable, on one mantra, a small mantra. And in this mantra, it means you are not going to talk. Mind is fixed. And when mind is fixed, so you are cutting down, stopping, talking different ideas, different variety of speech, and different type of communication. Because you are in jap. When you are totally quiet, it means mauन. So these are somewhat stoppage, and stoppage of different level. Suppose you are in job, your your voice is active, but one pointed fixed on one mantra. And when you totally stop the physical activity, mental activity, and any other type of vocal activity, and that is a kind of meditation. And in that meditation, you are not using all the three types of your modes of action. So that is stoppage. Somewhere for 48 minutes, for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, you do some work. It means you are stopping all these activity. But at subtle level, is it possible? Is it possible? Just block the mind? No. But we try, and we practice, and the practice makes a man perfect. In yoga, we need abhyas. Abhyas vairagyabhyam tan nirodh hai. In classical yoga, Patanjali said the abhyas. So how much you practice? Suppose I want to be for 1 second, 2 seconds, 5 seconds thoughtlessly, and just touch your tongue to the palate. Relax. No thought for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And this thoughtlessness is also restraint of mind. You can do this practice anywhere else. But this 1 second improve 3 seconds, then 5 seconds, then 10 seconds, and sometime 30 seconds, 1 minute without thought. If you are improving yourself, and that is a way of samvar. That is, in true mean, it is a samvar. Means you have stopped the activity. So restraint of man, and walk restraint, vani samvar, and that is also a difficult samvar. Maybe on the upper level, okay, half an hour you are not speaking, but so many thoughts, and thoughts and vani have connection. So at certain level, your thoughts are creating some information, generating information. So the Acharya Mahapragya given one more practice, the relaxation of vocal cord. If you really want to go in moan, want to make a piece of the clutter of mind, and for that you need relaxation of throat. So the real moan occur when you have relaxation of thought. And then aharanam, having 20 things, 10 things on your table, and at that time if you say, okay, in this party I'm not going to eat more than 15 items, 10 items, because otherwise your mind says, okay, let me test this, let me test this. This is something new and tempting the mind, and sometimes not useful, not giving proper nutrition. Because finally our body is making peace. And if the halwa is made out of sugar, atta, ghee and water, the inside, while the digestion occurs, at that time they make all the items separate and then shut all the items separate. Few glands sucks the fat, then some glucose, some amino acids, some other items. So if we put in our system 40, 30, 20 types of things, then it is difficult to select, difficult to use, difficult to digest, because everywhere we have systems, and this system sometimes we make a practical difficulty for our system. So Acharya Tulsi given the definition of yoga is more pragmatic, but for the soteriological point of view, from the liberating point of view, Samvar and Nirjara is also the paryay of yoga. And when we use this, then the purpose of yoga is also included in this definition. Shodhanam cha, purification. Purification of mind, body, speech, food, and all these parts of our existence. So Shodhanam, the main purpose of yoga is Shodhan, purification. And purification at spiritual level occurs during the Samvar and Nirjara. Samvar is stoppage and Nirjara is kicking it out. You kick it out. Whatever ahar you have taken, you chewed it properly, digested it, then your system got what is the nutrition and the waste is thrown out. But if the waste is not thrown out, then what happened? So many imbalances, so many difficulties, so many health problems. So I'm taking from pragmatic use. The so many health problem starts if the kidney don't purify the blood, if your rectum don't purify your system, your urinary system don't purify the whole system, and even perspiration, that is also important. Sometimes people think, okay, lot more perspiration, but that is also a cleansing of the body. Sometimes we do cleansing only upper, cleansing through massage, cleansing through bath, but cleansing through your own inner effort. And that's why whenever the so-called yoga, we talk only yoga, it means asanas. No. Asana is one part of yoga to keep a balance and purify the body and create stability. But the yoga has so many aspects. And here, when we go to the purification, so if the one level purification is okay, that you are aware of your food, about your eating, it means your bhojan yoga start. And that bhojan yoga give way to the other yoga. The other yoga is not easy to happen in our body. Mani yoga is the last stage. Vachana yoga. Vachana yoga is also because the people don't eat proper food, don't purify themselves, and sometimes knowingly, unknowingly, something comes out of our mouth, and that gives लम्हों ने खता की थी, सदियों ने सजा पाई. Only 2 seconds, only 1 second, nonsense. And the other person, oh, is thinking, she is thinking, or he is thinking, all my activities is nonsense. And sometimes mind is not so open. not so positive due to our own negativity. And some suggestion comes to us, and we feel, oh, the person is dominating, but not really dominating. Is our friend, but our glass is changed due to our own inner situation, due to our own kasayas, due to our own negativity, and we are not able to take. I used to do Kayot Sarga Pratima. This is a part of our summon order. Every Ashtami, every Chaturdasi, and every Pakhi. So that Kayutsarga Pratima is a kind of reflection. During 15 days, if I was angry, then I say, first of all, I try to kick it out. What has happened during these 15 days? I play it back, my own film, and then, okay, that was normal suggestion. Suppose Hasubai given me a small timepiece, small table watch, Samniji, you keep in your bag. If you go in the lecture and if you ask Pragyaben, wristwatch, or Meena, do you have watch? So this is not good. Samniji, you keep it. And whenever I wash my bag, keep it out and don't put it. So after 3-4 times, if Hasubai suggests, Samniji, what happened to that small timepiece? And then inside, maybe I feel, because he is very mild. If he say, Samniji, I have given you that timepiece, you are not caring. So that is, but very polished and peaceful way. Samniji, what happened to that timepiece? Then, oh Hasubai, really I kept it out when I washed my bag and I forgot to put it. But if I'm not positive, I should say, oh, this Hasubai given small timepiece and asking me where is that timepiece. So it is my negativity. But sometimes it comes. It comes from our inner mind. Someone suggests very peacefully. And it happens in our day-to-day life. If some junior suggests something, then, so it's a very important, interesting story. Once, a monkey was sitting on a tree and it was rain. So the monkey was shivering with the cold because it's rain and windy and temperature was so down. So at that time, a baya bird, this is a tailor bird, and very smart bird, small bird but very smart, and knitting its own nest so beautifully. Have you seen tailor bird's nest? In India we have seen so many times, so very beautifully. So that day, she just raining, and so she went inside. So it is kind of home feeling, cozy and protecting, and made in such a nice way, artistic way. So she sitting inside the house, oh monkey brother, why don't you make your own nest or own place? And listening this, he became so furious, so angry, and came down and broken the nest of that poor bird. So sometimes, good advice is creating a distraction. creating a hazard in life. So when the buyer, the tailor bird, thought, oh, I should not advise such a nasty monkey because he is in negativity. He don't open for the positivity, don't understand. So it happens. And you see, there was nothing wrong, nothing wrong. But the monkey and tailor bird's story is giving us a lesson that where there is negativity, then positive instruction became negative. So Vachana Yoga, but if there is someone who are very peacefully inside and try to advise with peace, and the person who has taken something wrong again meditate, again do pratikraman, again think, and when we think over again, then we can spot our own mistake, our own negativity. It is not the negativity of tailor bird, but the negativity of monkey. Sometimes it is not the negativity of our juniors, it is our own negativity. Sometimes it happens, and most of the time it is very difficult. But if we meditate, we reflect again on that incident, on that episode, we have to replay. And when we have to cut, don't carry on, don't put these incidents in your baggage. Whatever useful, use it and then rest through it. This is yoga. So, purification of mind. Otherwise, whenever we see the same person, the same role plays, the same film is ready, and then we go in that negativity. So, the yoga is giving us a way to cut off that baggage, come on the present moment, and when you meditate, cut off all this. And this meditation give us power. Even we can go to our juniors, okay, it happens, and by mistake it happens. Nothing wrong, and this will make a close bond in our relationship. So the yoga here, so purification of the past incidents, past occurrence, past happenings in our life. So again, Acharya Tulsi supported his own definition that if a person is with yoga in our day-to-day life, then he has given an example of Prashamarati Prakran. It is a treatise written in Sanskrit by Acharya Umaswati, 4th century treatise. Nirjit mad madananam vakkai mano विकार रहितानाम विनिवृत पर आशानाम इहेव मोक्षो सुविहितानाम. So again, in 4th century, Acharya Umaswati given a definition that you need not to just think about the final destination. Final destination, the moksha sukh is not in our hand. Where is moksha? Moksha is here. If moksha is not here, then you can't reach there. You have to create your moksha on here, on the earth. Heaven is here. Similarly, liberation is here. So, how it is possible? Liberating state while living in the worldly state. and that is given Nirjit Mad Madanana. Mad and Madan. So Nirjit Mad Madananam, one who overcome ego and Madananam, various type of lust, and Manovakay Vikara Rahitanam, one who purified his body, mind and speech. So that person who has Vinivrit Parashanam, who has conquered the desires and expectation, I think more related to expectation. We have desire, and our desire is sometimes focused on our own self. But sometimes we have desire. Okay, one desire, okay, I have to achieve 90% marks. A positive desire. And you have to work yourself, because this desire is related to yourself. If I have desire, I want to meditate 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, so that is my own desire. Nobody is there. But if I have desire, okay, in my gochari, suppose Pragnaben will bring this item, Meenaben will bring this item, and Kiranji will this item. And then Kiran say, Samniji, sorry, I forgot that item. And then Meena will say, oh, I couldn't get some time to cook, and I have so many guests I have not brought. So if the three people say, we brought only this or not, in that situation, because my expectations were with others. Similarly, if there is a party and it is a birthday party, then all kids think, okay, my mommy will do this, my papa will bring this. So expectation, desire and expectation. So one who have a very low level of expectation from others, but expectation from yourself, keep it high, and your own yoga, own spirituality will help you. Your own labor, own hard work will help you to reach that goal. But when you have desire and expectation from the others, almost all people get sadness, dissatisfaction from the others. Nobody under the sky, on the earth, is always happy from others. No matter bhai, brothers, sisters, wife, husband, how much love they have, but it is there. Even God comes on the earth and want to fulfill, even God is not there to fulfill everything. You have something more in your mind. So, who can feel moksha on the earth, moksha in their day-to-day life? So very beautifully Acharya Uma Swati given this. So one who overcome the ego, ego, one ego, that is again very positive aspect, self-esteem, so that is useful. But the other ego means I have big house, I have big car, I have good this, I have that. So that ego, when your own feelings, own gesture and gesture change with some feeling of your car, of your clothing, of your beauty, it means that is ego. And that ego that when ego comes, beauty goes down. Because beauty is Satyam Sivam Sundaram. Beauty is beautiful, beauty is truth, and beauty is Shivam. Means again pure. So beauty is auspicious. When beauty and ego both mix, at that time beauty is not beautiful. And similarly, Mad and Madananam. Because being a human being, you have desires, you have other aspect of your personality. In a controlled sense, all is good. But when they are so much hyper, is taking you away from the yoga. So finally, the liberation you can feel here and now in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day satisfaction. And that is created by you only yourself, nobody other. So Gurudev Tulsi given the definition that yoga of mind, body, speech, yoga of indriyas, yoga of again ahar. So all these are pragmatic cues. And the journey when start from these first step, second step, third step, then second step, okay, let me have 5 minutes, 10 minutes for my samvar, and let me delete myself. What is happening? What happened in the past which was not good, not right, sometime from the other person, sometime from us. Those who know forget, they can forgive. Those who know how to erase, they can make a new building or new ground for their own life. Otherwise, so much garbage of the past. Carry on, carry on, carry on. And that garbage never give us chance to feel liberation, a liberating state on the earth. So try to be, judge yourself, am I feeling 5 minutes, 10 minutes or few seconds any vibration of liberation on this earth? And that is the real moksha. Because through our eyes, we know moksha only through the Shastras, from the pravachan of Bhagavan Mahavir, from the canonical books. Have you, anybody over here, have you felt any liberation here? Or anybody have a definition of their own liberation? Have you made your liberation?
Yeah, but when you're at peace, when you feel, shanti within, it's like...
That is liberation. Yeah. Yes. Anybody thought about only that liberation which is not in our hand? We say, okay, it is 45 lakh yojan, 45 lakh yojan, and it is like thin than the diamond, diamond made of something white metal, and it is a crescent moon shape, and all the siddhas, all the liberated beings are there. They have no problem, no crisis, no terrorism, no terrorist attack on anybody. Everybody is in the peace, and infinite siddhas are there, and still the room for infinite. And everybody, they can accommodate, they have that capacity. So this liberation is sonorous. Whenever we listen, it is really amazing, and all we look for that liberation. But if we don't have liberation, iheva moksho. See how beautifully described. If All these happen one who overcome the ego and lust, purify the body, speech and the mind, and one who conquered the desires and expectations. Such person have liberation over here, over here. So, and all this happen not only for just merely listening. We have to put in the practice. And suppose today, when you go home, and when I go home, and then we remember a small thing which happened in the past, and that thing again occurs and we bind new karma. So just go and ask for forgiveness. Make your way. Make your way. No matter your son is small one or your wife is equal to you and your parents are elder than you, whoever, friends, family, seniors, juniors, whoever suggested that was good, but out of my ego I never accepted. So again it is a time for us. The bell rings for us. Bell tolls for whom? Not for the others. It is for us. So this Iheva Mokso, the liberation over here through the yoga and Jain yoga has so vast. Someone is there, stoppage of karma. Nirjara is there, casting of the karma. When we purify, we stop that cluttering in our mind. So that is a kind of samvar. And when we ask for the forgiveness, then that whole baggage is cleared. So that is nirjara, practical nirjara. Because we can't see that, okay, how many karmas you carry on your back, on your head. Nobody knows. Even I don't know. I don't know how much karma I have. But if we start to eliminate them through the stoppage and purification, then it will make a way. Normally we have a fear in our mind. We have our own ego in our mind, and that fear and ego just stopping us should not go. Should not go. Otherwise, the other party will take advantage. It's our own feeling. So, in that situation, we have to understand the Jain Yoga, the vastness of Jain Yoga, pragmatic use of Jain Yoga, and the higher use of Jain Yoga for the final attainment of liberation. So this yoga is the first step, and slowly we will go how the indriyas are indulging, how the mind is indulging, how the speech is indulging, how purified and controlled and restrained things help us beautifully. So now I'll keep 10 minutes for any discussion and questions. Yes.
In the previous slides, there was this term Nirodha, and it came in both verse 1 and 2. So what does Nirodha mean?
Nirodha. It's the Ruhang root coming from Ruhang, and Ruhang root is for stoppage. So one Nirod is just you stop it. So suppose some type of thought is going on in your mind, so you have to stop. So one, suppose we indulge in an argument, so I stop that. That is also Nirod. And I'm doing some activity, and suppose anybody is indulged in some sort of violent activities, at that time you stop. So that is Nirod. But again you say, no, I'm not in that level. My level is not that. So then again we are thinking at general level Nirod. So we take, suppose you are working morning to evening at office, come home, you do this helping in kitchen or feeding the kids or asking them what they did, what is need to do for them, and all these things. And then again you take 2 minutes, stopping your activity. Yeah, 2 minutes meditation, 3 minutes meditation. Or during the office time, something happen which is not pleasant, which is not boosting your energy, but this is some sort of thing which is unwanted, and at that time that is always hitting you. Oh, why this happened with me, why this happened with me. So try to stop, nirodha that. Okay, now I'm at home. The office, I left the office, so I left the worry, I left the all things there, and tomorrow it will start. If you have, so that is also one kind of nirodha. And even I suppose today I delivered a lecture, and after this lecture, again I'm thinking, okay, I did this well, this is less well, this, oh, I could have add this and that. No point. I have to stop. Lecture is nishesham. Lecture is over. So now if I have to think, I have to think for the next. And if some points are I not touched and I have to recap, then I have to note down. But that clutter should not be always with me. It happens with me sometime. Oh, I came with a very beautiful point, and during the 1 hour, the point was not within me, and I have no reminder. And as soon as I finished in the car, oh, Unnat Pragya ji, I forgot that. So that is not right. That is not right. I should stop that and note down for the betterment, for recapping next week. So that is the point. Most of the time, we all spend our time just thinking on the past. So that is also Nirodha. Acharya Mahapragya given a small booklet, मेरे जीवन की सफलता के रहस्य. And in that book, he has given, when I stopped. And when it start next day 9 o'clock, before 9, I never think about it. And that's why he could finish so accomplished, so big work. Editing of the old Agamas, nearly 200 books, and like thousands and thousands kilometers, 150,000 kilometers yatra on foot journey, and other works. So much. So I said, like, whenever one thing over, that is over till tomorrow. Tomorrow I invoke fresh. And normally what we did, we over, okay, I made this soup. Lady say, Samni ji, I forgot to add in lemon. Is there somebody to give you lemon? Forget about lemon. Huh? Is there somebody can add some salt? Okay, forget about salt. Kimeg bhavishyami. In one day, what happened? Nothing. So, similarly, if happen, and then regretting for a day, regretting an hour, so it means that activity, that yoga is not nirodha. So nirodha have subtle meaning. The final nirodha is when man, vani, kai at the 14th gunasthan, at the 14th progressive level of purification. When 14th gunasthan occur, then mind, body and speech is totally stand still, and then final liberation. So that is final nirodha. Before that nirodha, we do at different level nirodha. And I will carry on this nirodha in further lectures.
Samiji, if there was a problem, and if you don't think, if you just stop thinking about it, you will never get a resolution. So how do you overcome
To resolve the problem, you think, but don't think round the clock. When you think, okay, particularly, suppose you are thinking alone or you are thinking in a group, so at that time you think only on that particular time. And most of us thinking so much and reaching nowhere. Thinking so much and reaching nowhere. So there is no, it is not prohibition of thinking. You must think. Without thinking,
There is
you
no
can't
issue.
get resolve this problem. So you think, but don't think at a
Ponder.
length. Yeah. Okay, 10-15 minutes. I'm constantly thinking on this point. in our research, in our PhD, when you finish reading one article, note down the problems, and then sit quietly, do nothing, just think. Open eyes, close eyes, or nearby the window, but you think. What is problem? What is the question? And then try to answer. So this is one method. But if I constantly thinking and doing nothing, then nothing happens. Also, I'm making other things hazard. Many ladies, they put tea on the gas and then they start thinking and then tea is out. They are thinking about cake and tea is going out. It happens. So many times.
So you're talking about worry, isn't it? Not to worry about a problem. Anything you say, you're thinking means the worry, isn't it? Because
Now, worry is okay. Worry is the next level, thinking and worrying. Huh? So, worrying is totally going in the negative side. And thinking is positive. So, if you want to solve the problem, you have to think. But don't think 3 hours or 1 day. Think at a particular time. Save your particular time and then you think. So, give yourself time to think. Yes?
What is the relationship of the subconscious mind in thinking? Because they say that by yoga,
Mm-hmm.
you leave a problem in your subconscious mind and you get an answer. So, and that's the point that she's saying that maybe you don't need to think, you just leave it to the subconscious mind to come with the answer.
Because if you have so good connectivity with your subconscious mind is active round the clock, but most active while your conscious mind is sleeping. You know, two cooks spoil the things. Yeah. Huh? So if one is helper, wife is the main cook, then husband is helping, is okay. But husband is putting salt and wife is putting oil and husband is cooking sugar, and like then they can spoil the thing. So one is leader. So similarly, if you want to give the problem to your subconscious mind, and for connecting yourself with the subconscious mind, you need to meditate, because the door of subconscious mind is not open and not in your hand. We need that connectivity, and for that we need more meditation. So today I'm stopping here, and next time we are going. So it is a modern treatise on yoga, and I'm translating it. It's commentary as well. So now information.